Hello and welcome back to a podcast where I talk about going from corporate drone to corporate dropout. When it comes to being a fitness coach and gamer and everything in between, you know it, you love it. Welcome back to Chaos and Fuckery. And in today's fitness episode, because it is a Tuesday, we're actually going to kind of talk about the two worlds colliding, right? Fitness and building a small business. There are so many similar paths when it comes to your weight loss journey versus building a small business. And if you've been able to do one, you probably can figure out how to do the other. But I am living in both right now, right? I am a coach who teaches people how to, go through their weight loss journey. I'm on one myself at some points in time. And I've done it multiple times over prior to now. And on top of that, I'm also building a small business once again. This isn't the first time I've tried to do it. COVID destroyed my whole photography business. And yes, I could have gone back to that. But reality is it was not conducive to, still trying to work a 9 to 5 and traveling every weekend for wedding photography. So today we're going to talk all about those similarities. And the number one thing that I truly do believe is the similarity between the two of them is motivation is a lie. I tell this to my clients all the time. I tell this to people online as a content creator all the time. Motivation is a lie. You are not always going to be motivated to go into the gym, even if you become a gym rat and love it. There will be days where you look out the window, see it's raining, and say, God, fuck, I don't want to go to the gym. And that is the days where that motivation, the New Year's resolution newness, the whatever it is that demotivates you from going to the gym, that's when your discipline and your routine needs to start to kick in. The same goes for building a small business. And this honestly has been my biggest struggle throughout the entirety of me trying to be an entrepreneur. Motivation is a lie. I will go through and replan every quarter, but the minute I get off of that, in just the slightest bit of things, everything goes hectic and I disappear off the internet for a few months. And I have been fighting doing that, and it's not always easy, but the minute I'm no longer motivated because my numbers aren't what they should be, or I'm not getting the response to an offer that I've put out there, that's when all of that motivation starts to die off. And that's usually in the fitness space where people start to start sliding back up the scale rather than down. That's when they stop some of the habits that they started to build from their New Year's resolution at the beginning of the year. Those moments are key pivotal moments in both a weight loss journey and a small business journey, but really specifically in a weight loss journey. That motivation dying is the moment you decide, am I committed to this? Or am I going to be a part of the statistic where, 90% of all diets fail? What are you going to choose when that happens? But that also tends to happen because of another key similarity between the two. You're not going to see results right away. Everyone wants to see that 10-pound drop after their first week. Everyone wants to see visually in the mirror, oh, I've lost 2 pant sizes instantaneously. And no one, including myself, wants to wait out the correct process. They will do the extreme things like detoxes and extremely low calorie deficits and sometimes dangerous things to get to the results that they want rather than see it slowly happen over time. The same happens in content creation. Look at all the talk about view botting and, paid for engagement. And there's literally docuseries following creators who paid a bunch of bots to build their platform to make brands think that they are actually bigger than they are. That happens because people don't want to put in the work to build their communities and actually interact with their communities. They just want the money. And the results will come with time if you stay consistent. But going back to the motivation thing, when they're not coming, if you're reliant on motivation, you're never going to make it. And those are the two that have been the biggest for me. But one that I've noticed pretty heavily with clients in the fitness space, and I'm noticing pretty heavily with me in the small business space, is tracking equals truth. A lot of people say, oh, I'm eating 1,400 calories and I am not losing weight. And while, yes, in some cases, hormones and other things inside your body can actually make that a true statement, a lot of the times you don't even realize that you're not actually eating what you think you are. When you're not weighing and tracking your food meticulously to the point that, you're not tracking the amount of oil you're cooking your food in. Those small little details can be what makes the difference between you being in a deficit and you being at maintenance or in a slight overage. The sodas, the condiments, those are all things that if you're not tracking them appropriately, will make the difference that you're not seeing. The same can be said for content and being a small business owner. If you're not tracking your numbers meticulously, especially in the beginning, you could honestly be operating at a loss and never even know it. And yes, a lot of businesses will operate in a deficit for their first few years, even ones that have full budgets associated with them, just because it takes time to build up that revenue. But not tracking your details in the content space, in the financial space, can actually lead to your ultimate failure as a business owner, as can it with the fitness space. So tracking, as much as we all hate it, is an important component to being successful in a lot of things. In the fitness space, however, there's a lot of different ways you can go about doing that is not as flexible in the business space. Or at least that's been my experience, because it's a lot less subjective in the business space. You're either operating as a profit or you're operating at a loss, and that's really that simple. With the content space, there's only so much of those analytics you can control, and most of them are confusing as shit. Can I tell you why a video had a certain amount of impressions when, it's an exact replica of a video that did well, but with like a different game or something? Absolutely not. I cannot figure it out. The two thumbnails could be identical and you just swap the logo of one game for another, and the exact script could be identical and I will still be staring at it like, why are these two so different? And I'm not sure that without the help of a YouTube expert, I will ever figure it out, to be honest. It blows my mind, whereas with weight loss, you can figure it out as you start to track what that issue is. So that is another similarity that, I don't struggle with the tracking side on the fitness side, but on the business side, absolutely, I struggle. I will call everything a business expense, not literally. For legal purposes, that is a joke, but you know what I mean. I will, spend money that my business probably doesn't have because I have it as an individual, and I need to stop doing that in order to, eventually have a profit. But a lot of that is tools and things to hopefully make the business grow. So is it worth it? For fitness, absolutely. For business, maybe not. Especially not while I'm small. The plateau aspect is more of a heavy hitter in fitness for me. Plateauing in business is only frustrating when the plateau seems to happen before the results do. Whereas the plateau in fitness can be mind-boggling because you've done everything right for 6 months and then suddenly, I don't know. Is this just, water weight from the night before? I don't know. Is this just, a hormonal cycle? I don't know. And I can see how in business a plateau would be frustrating, but at least then you're operating in a standard function. It's not as hurtful as, losing business, or in the fitness space, having no idea how to actually reach your goals. Plateaus can be an ender to a lot of people's weight loss journeys, to the point that they go off the other end and have to start over. Plateaus are infuriating as a business owner, but definitely in your weight loss journey. To all who have ever been through a plateau, whether it be at the bodybuilding level, whether it be at just the basic fitness level, I feel you and I understand how hard it is to stay the course when it comes to fitness plateaus. But I've also worked my way through a plateau and understand, at least in the fitness space, it is worth it in the end to keep working, and you may even see a drastic drop off after that plateau just purely because your body might have been fighting a new workout program for a little tiny bit, and then you see the results you want. So keep the course, keep that discipline, and keep to your routine even when you're in a plateau. And that is a lesson I need to tell myself even on the business side. When it comes to accountability, my favorite thing is building with somebody else in the gym, and I need more of that community in small business. I will tell clients from day one, if you have a battle buddy, go find them and do this with them. Even if that person's not paying me, they can run the same program as you. You guys can do it together as a little army, because you are going to be more successful when you are responsible to yourself or responsible to your wallet, whatever motivates you to keep, being responsible to that routine. Battle buddies are important in fitness. Now, battle buddies in entrepreneurship aren't as common, but they are as important. Being able to surround yourself with other small business owners that are of the same size and if not larger than you, and collabing with other creators that are larger to you, not only exposes you to new audiences, but also helps you stay accountable. For me, right, for instance, if I had a sponsor, it would motivate me to actually edit my video, because then I have a deadline I have to meet. Or if I have a collab, I'll hit the go live button. But when it's just me by myself and I'm hitting that demotivated phase where the numbers aren't what they are, it's hard. And I have seen my most success in fitness when I had a battle buddy. And I wonder constantly what it would be like to surround myself with other small business owners that I could bring on this podcast even. And not just utilize their community, if you will, to help grow myself, but also find camaraderie in building and being in the trenches as small business owners. Celebrating those small wins along the way is something that I struggle with in business that I don't struggle with in fitness, whereas a lot of my clients have struggled to find those small wins. I struggle massively in celebrating any win in business if it's not financial. And I've talked about this on previous episodes, I believe, but that is another, parallel in two journeys. And it's funny to me when I'm sitting here talking about in the fitness space, we definitely need to celebrate those small wins, non-scale wins for sure. It's not just small wins, it's non-scale wins. We need to focus on and love and show attention to. And I used to celebrate my clients every Wednesday on social media. And now I kind of try to keep my clients, unless they allow me to share some of their wins and personal successes. I try to keep that to myself as my, community gets bigger. But it is important to celebrate them regardless. And that kind of goes into it's a long game mentality. My business will fuel my future across the board. And my, getting healthy also fuels your future across the board. But you have to be able to make the total changes needed to be successful long term, rather than just those instant result hits. And taking some of the mentality that I teach my clients and applying it to business is so hard. I wish I understood a lot better why my brain is the way it is. Because I can totally teach this stuff and even apply it in fitness, but it does apply to business. And it's weird. Honestly, as a fitness coach, I know all of these things. It's almost like the do as I say, not as I do. Because I would tell my clients, hey, do X, Y, and Z things, but I can't apply those things to my small business journey, even though they do apply. Not all things are identical in these two paths, but they absolutely do parallel each other. Everything I have told my clients in fitness, a lot of the big struggles for weight loss are also huge struggles in business and entrepreneurship that not only I, but many others have seen. You're building this completely new identity of yourself, both as an entrepreneur and as someone in a weight loss journey. And, things like the Kaizen challenge that I've talked about in previous episodes are part of rebuilding and rewiring your brain to be this new person. That's why so many, business coaching and entrepreneurship and so many of those programs also involve physical fitness, because they all play together. You are all becoming this new identity, whether it's simply just to get healthy and fit, as a gamer, as just a person in life in general, as a 9-to-5er, whatever it is. Whether that's your only goal or for you have much bigger goals when it comes to the all around becoming a new person, it all starts with a lot of these parallels. Celebrating small wins along the way, not relying on motivation, selling yourself as this new, brand new person, not only to yourself, but to others a lot of the times. Not relying on quick fixes, collabing with others, and finding that community that you can, in fact, be tightly coupled with. Creating habits over quick fixes. There are so many things that parallel each other when it comes to being just generally successful in life that come, ironically, from fitness and being healthy and fit and being that disciplined bodybuilder character, if you will, that a lot of people portray online. Yes, to be successful in most things, discipline is required, and relying on motivation is never going to get you anywhere. But in fitness is where it all starts. Being that physically fit, and I'm not talking about a body size here. I am talking about building the habits, drinking the appropriate amount of water, eating healthy, eating your vegetables and fruits, and, portion controlling to some extent, and focusing on protein and fiber, and moving, whether it just be walking or playing VR games or going to the gym at least 30 minutes-ish a day, all help better you as a human and your endeavors outside of health and fitness. So why wouldn't you want to do that? If you're a small business owner struggling with any of these things, maybe start with your fitness, and that will help improve everything else. Not saying that fitness is the solution to all things, because it's definitely not. The gym is not a replacement for therapy. The gym is not a replacement for mental health medications that may or may not be needed, but it does help improve symptoms of the things that you may need those medications for. It does help improve mental clarity to allow you to have more creative ideas and better videos and, make sure your routine stays in place. It's not really going to help you reconnect with people, but it can help you create a new community if you maybe go to CrossFit or an Orange Theory class, or if it can help you also find your battle buddies, whether it be for the gym itself or as a small business owner. The parallels you learn from fitness can be applied to so many different things. And while I am not perfect, I do love seeing the parallel between being a small business owner, a fitness coach, and even a gaming content creator. These disciplinary things that are similar between fitness and small business are also kind of similar between gaming and small business. And that's when you can blend them all together and create that new identity that you're supposed to be working on. And while I am definitely not your advice guru from a successful person, these are all things that I have experienced in building different businesses and building different bodies. I have changed my body physique so many times over at this point. And at the end of the day, when I live through these principles that are all the parallels between the two things, I'm not relying on motivation. I am celebrating my small wins. I have a community around me that is not only supportive, but will call me on my shit when I'm not doing my shit appropriately. I have worked through my plateaus and things like that. I am a better person. And I know a lot of people out there are as well. These similarities between building a business and fitness come from some bigger picture ideal of pillars to live your life by, but I have actually seen the success of them. And not a lot of people may think this is all like woo-woo nonsense, but at the end of the day, you're executing a routine that is the most beneficial for you to be the best person you want to be. And what small business owner doesn't want that? What small business owner doesn't want the success of maybe no longer being small business? What, person on a weight loss journey doesn't want to see the end results of putting in the hard work and maintaining them? What gaming content creator gets into it and says, oh, I just want to average 100 views every video. I never want to get bigger than that. Not everyone wants to be, a Ludwig size content creator. But I know a lot of people who get into gaming content creation would at least like to be able to pay their bills with it. So at the end of the day, what are you willing to put into it to see the success, whether it be in weight loss, content creation, small business? These parallels are the things you need to put in to be successful and be aware of. These parallels can be applied to all of life's problems to me. Recognizing what piece of these similarities you're actively living in and getting through them is the ultimate success tool. And while, this started as an episode about, the similarities between small business and fitness, because that's what this podcast is all about. It also is, a motivator. Whether you're on a weight loss journey, trying to be a creator, building a small business, or simply just living in the thick of the hellscape we are in now and needing a little motivation to keep existing. Today is temporary. Tomorrow is never promised. Just keep fucking doing it and you will see the success. And these are all stories I've learned from, being in fitness. Fitness is not the end all be all. It is not the ultimate solution to everything and anything, but it definitely helps. Small business, life, making sure, if you're older, you see your grandkids' graduation. Whatever it is that you want to ensure that you're successful at, fitness helps. Not the ultimate solution. You may still need things like a therapist, and it'll help even more if you're doing all of those things at once. But that reinvention of you as a human being is almost entirely connected to fitness. And then you can bring those to other places, like small business. So, say that was a lot of fuckery today, guys. I think it was mostly chaos, because we all live in our own chaos every day. And whether it be a simple weight loss journey, being in a small business owner just like me, that also happens to work a 9-to-5 and be a wife and spouse and, has an animal collection. Not literally, guys. I'm not a hoarder, I promise. I just have 3 cats. Whether it be, something small like weight loss, or something obnoxiously large like trying to make 100K in 5 months. These are all principles that you need to follow. But let me know your experience with some of these things. Have you hit any of these and seen the similarity in one place that you could bring to somewhere else? Or is that just me? Anyways, I will be back on Thursday. We're going to talk a little bit about the Switch 2 launch, how that went. Did the boycotts actually work? Yeah. That's what we're going to do. Hit that subscribe button and leave some comments below on your experience, whether it be from the weight loss space, from the creator space, or from the small business space. How have these parallels, or have you seen any other parallels? But I hope you enjoyed the chaos and don't have as much fuckery, because you've learned these lessons before I did.